Hi, this is Bobby Kimbrough, and once again, welcome to Off the Cuffs. Today I have with me men's head basketball coach at WSSU, Go Ramley, Go Rams, Coach Corey Thompson. I want to welcome you to Off the Cuffs, my friend. It's glad to see you, brother.
Thank you for having me. It's just an honor to be on this show and to be with you this morning.
Mine, brother. I appreciate you. You know, I've done a little research about you. I know this is your first season here, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know you're a graduate of Winston State.
Mm-hmm.
Your wife is as well. And so this is like coming back home. But do me a favor, you know, when we have guests here, a lot of times some of us know you and some of us don't.
Right.
I mean, we always ask people, how did you arrive where you are now?
Oh, man. A lot of prayer.
Yeah.
A lot of prayer and a lot of people pushing me along my way. I would say back in 1998, Winston State took a chance on a young man that wasn't really too sure of himself.
Wow.
And gave me an opportunity to come to school and to pursue a dream of playing basketball, not knowing one day that I would have the opportunity to come back and serve my institution. Our motto is enter to learn, depart to serve.
Sure.
And so I entered to learn, not knowing that 20 plus years later I would come back to serve my university.
That's true.
And so I'm grateful to the institution, just grateful for this opportunity to come back and serve in the capacity of the head men's basketball coach. This program has meant a lot to me. You know, we're starting off a little slowly as I would like.
Yeah.
However, you know, we just getting the ball rolling 6 months. So I've been here 6 months on the job. It feels like being here 6 years, but 6 months on the job. And so we're continuing to get better and improve.
So where you from? Where you originally from?
So I'm originally from Lumberton, North Carolina, a small city outside of Fayetteville.
Yeah, I know where Lumberton, yeah. Pembroke down that way, right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's correct. So Lumberton is a small niche area, low poverty area. And so the odds of getting out of Lumberton are slim to none. So just the county in general. So, you know, just to be able to be from that area and be able to beat the odds.
I like that,
just
man.
going to college and, you know, trying to do something better.
So did you play basketball?
I did. I played basketball. So kind of funny story, Sheriff. So I started off kind of similar to Michael Jordan, man. You know, I wasn't a very good player coming out. And so my middle school year got cut my 6th grade year, 7th grade year, 8th grade year. Finally made the team my JV year. Didn't give up on basketball. 10th grade year, played. 11th grade year, played. 12th grade year, didn't really get a chance to play like I thought I was and didn't get any scholarship offers. And so, you know, I had to figure out that I want to play basketball or if I want to continue to play basketball. I knew I wanted to play at the next level.
Wow.
And so I just really, you know, that's where I started defining who I am as a person, as my character, work ethic and stuff of that nature. So, you know, guys allowed me opportunities to be able to do some things. And, you know, basketball has been a blessing to me because I've been able to do a lot of things that I probably wouldn't have been able to do without it. So
you got yourself together, and Winston State gave you a chance to come up here and play?
Yes, sir. Winston State gave me a chance coming out of high school. Like I said, I wasn't recruited, so I went to Fayetteville State my first year just as a regular student.
Bronco. Yeah.
Yep. Fayetteville State Broncos. So I went to Fayetteville State as a regular student. Folks don't know this. I was in the marching band.
Really?
At Fayetteville State. Yes, sir. So
unknown facts. He was in the marching band.
So you can imagine a 6'7", 6'8" guy in the marching band. I wasn't playing the flute, though. I was playing the trumpet.
Okay.
So I was a regular student at Fayetteville State, and I knew I wanted to play basketball. And so the coach at that time, which is a legend, Rick Duckett, was the head coach at the time there at Fayetteville State. And so I tried out for the team there, and he really liked me, and some things happened. He left Fayetteville State, went to Winston, and he said, hey, I have an opportunity for you if you want to come to Winston-Salem State. So that's how I ended up here at Winston-Salem State. And so, you know, my life, my journey has been a journey of adversity, has been a journey of, you know, battling through things. And I'm just glad that I've been able to go through that to make me the man I am today.
Wow, man, that's strong.
Yeah.
And some of that story I knew. And the reason that I'm glad you shared that, because people are going to be watching. There's going to be a young guy watching this somewhere and like, hey, you know what? I'm dealing with some adversity. He made it. Maybe I can. I got out of here. He got out of there. Maybe I can get out of here, right? And people taking a chance on you, creating your own opportunity. Wow, I like that. I like that. So when you got to Winston State, you were there with Coach Duckett, right?
That's correct.
And so when you left there, what did you do when you left Winston State?
So after graduation, like everyone, college aspiration, they want to play professionally after they get done. And that was my dream and aspiration, just to play professionally. But by the time I became a junior, I said, you know what, I still want to play, but I still want to be around the game. So coaching was something I really started clinging to a little bit more, talking to my coaches and stuff. And so I had an opportunity to become a GA straight out of college at a small school called Slippery Rock University out of Pennsylvania. And so once I graduated during the summer at Winston State, I went straight to grad school and became a GA and began to understand the nuances of coaching. Just really getting an opportunity to learn the craft and understand the ins and outs of it. So for 2 years, I was a GA at Slippery Rock University, and really got a chance to understand the profession and really grow in it. And then from there, I've just been coaching ever since. So it's been a passion for me. You know, a lot of times with coaching, we get a lot of criticism and stuff, but it's obviously, winning games and doing all that. That's what everybody wants to do. But to me, it's more impactful because it was a coach that changed my life. And so I want to be the same way to our student athletes as well.
Wow. That's good stuff. So where were you before you came to Winston?
So before I was at Winston, I was at I was coaching high school at St. Paul's High School.
I know.
So I was down there for 6 years. I was down at St. Paul's for 6 years. And what happened was there was a crossroad where I had to make a decision. At the time before taking the job at St. Paul's, I was coaching at Fayetteville State. So all of my experience was at the collegiate level. But we had a coaching change at Fayetteville State. And so I had to make a decision. Do I continue coaching college or do I take a job and be with my family? Well, Cheryl, I'm going to tell you, I'm in and out. My family comes first.
That's good stuff.
My thing, and I preach to my players, faith, family, and basketball is very important to me. So I had to make a decision, what I wanted to do with my life at that time.
That's good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You used that road crossword twice, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I got a question for you. Every man, every woman has a crossroads. I call it a defining moment, right? Mm-hmm. Sometimes there are defining moments. Sometimes there's a defining moment, right? And so my question to you would be, what has been one of your most defining moments in your life?
I would say a couple of them to be exact. The first one was, as I just mentioned, leaving from the collegiate level and making the decision whether or not I wanted to continue coaching college.
Wow.
I did have an opportunity to coach at a school out of Alabama, but I wouldn't have been close to my family. And so I took a high school job thinking that, okay, this is only going to be a 1-year thing. And, I get back into the collegiate game, knowing that the possibility of if I stay longer, I won't be able to pursue my dreams of coming back to my alma mater and coaching, because ultimately that's what I wanted to do. And so I had to make a decision. And to be honest with you, Sheriff, that was the best decision I made. That was one of those crossroads. Hey, I'm gonna take a high school job, get a chance to be more with my family. At the time, my kids, I have 3 kids. My son, he's 16, and at the time he was young, so all of my kids were young at the time. He played basketball. Actually plays at Winston-Salem Christian. Tyson Thompson is his name. He's 16 years old and he's 6'10". He's a up-and-coming player, so I'm excited about him. So I'm really, looking forward to seeing his development. But I have 2 younger daughters too as well. And at that time they were still really young, so I had to make a decision. Do I pursue a college opportunity and not be away from home, or do I just, stay and take the local job and be closer to home? Well, that was the best thing for me. I decided to stay home and be with my family. And I coached high school for the past 6-8 years there, and I really enjoyed it. So that was one of the defining moments. And then being a teacher, I don't know if you heard, there's a test called a praxis, right? So that's one of the state tests that teachers have to take in order for you to continue teaching. And so in year 3, at that time, I was taking, I was on I guess you would call it like they call it the limited license at that time. Yeah. So I was, my license was about to expire. And so I had to take the praxis test in order to pass. I didn't pass it. So it took me quite a few times to take it. And at that time, the last time I took it, and it was the defining moment that I had to pass that praxis in order to continue teaching, I didn't pass it. And so I remember it vividly because, I preached to my family, I preached to my son and my kids, you're going to go through adversity, you're going to have to fight through stuff. And so I didn't pass the last test in order for me to continue my job as a teacher. And so I didn't think that I was going to be able to teach anymore. And so I remember coming home to my wife and I was in tears. I said, hey, babe, I didn't pass. At that time, Sheriff, I probably took the test, probably like no exaggeration, probably 8 times. And so my wife looked at me and she said, babe, whatever God has for you, has for you. And my kids, they really got a chance to see dad at a vulnerable state because, I always talk to them about fighting through adversity. And then, I'm not being able to hold my part up. I felt like as far as with passing the test and continuing my job. So,
that's big, man. I like you. That's big, man. That's big.
Yeah. So things kind of worked out for me. I didn't end up losing my job as a teacher. So a month later, there was some things that came available for me. So I was able to continue teaching. And, 6 months later, I was able to pass the test. So after taking it several times.
You know what? I tell my boys that a lot, man. All facts are not final.
That's correct.
Right? It could be a fact today that this is happening in your life. Mm-hmm. Tomorrow, it could change on a dime.
Correct.
All facts are not final.
Correct.
You kept fighting through. You kept being persistent, right? The race ain't to the swift, it's to the steady. I like that. So let me ask you a question. So now we here at SU, mm-hmm. WSSU,
that's
right? You here now. Mm-hmm. You coaching some nice players over there, right?
Right.
You coaching at a collegiate level, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's your thoughts? How you feel?
Like I tell everybody, I'm living a dream. So this is a dream for me to come back to Winston-Salem State and be able to coach.
This is your first head coaching?
This is my first head coaching at the collegiate level.
That's good stuff, man.
Yeah, it's first head coaching at the collegiate level. And I tell everybody that, you have to have a good staff around you. And so I feel like I got a great staff around me that's going to continue to help me build and do what I want to do. Taking the job late, coming in late July, August. And at that time, a lot of the players and stuff are pretty much already solidified where they're going. So, understanding that we had to take some guys that possibly I probably wouldn't have taken or, if we had a full year of recruiting, but it is what it is. So, just kind of taking the hand that we were dealt. Obviously, we coming in and we're building. I'm laying my foundation. That's the biggest thing for me. Obviously I want to win, but just laying the foundation for the future. That's what I'm looking for. So it's been a dream. It's been a dream for me. It's been a blessing. Like I tell the players every day, like somebody wants to be in your shoes.
Facts.
So just don't take this for granted, and really for me too. And I don't take it for granted at all. So, even though we're not record-wise, we're not where we want to be, the foundation is being laid. And so that's what I'm expecting, to lay the foundation and continue building for the year to come.
Well, look, if you need a volunteer recruiter, right, I'll do it for 1-800-FREE, right?
1-800-FREE.
That's what I'll do. I'll recruit for you, right?
Okay.
Just cover how I get there and back, right?
We can make it happen.
Yeah. Well, listen, I got a question for you. Mm-hmm. So now you coaching, right? Now you over there. So what's the difference, man, the transition from coaching kids that were in high school to now you coaching kids who are grown men pretty much, right?
Right.
How do you make that transition? How do you interact with them?
Well, I'll tell you, it's the transition is different just because in high school you're really building kids up. You're working with from the grassroots level. And so high school, you're a coach, but you're also a dad. You're a counselor. You're a doctor. You're all that. So you're really building guys up from the grassroots level. When you come to college, players really understand like, hey, this is more a business. Like this is a job, but still, you still have to have that aspect of understanding your players and knowing their ins and out. And so the biggest transition for me is not necessarily being as far as with the basketball side of things. It's just kind of understanding my team. Even though there are players there, my team at Winston, they are college players, but still they have, issues. They may have things going on that as a coach, I have to understand that and know that. So I think the biggest thing for me is kind of understanding my team, understanding my players, and being able to know what they do best, kind of understanding that. And that takes some time. And you don't learn that in 3 months or 2 months of however long we had. So, that's the biggest thing for me is just kind of adjusting, just, the style of play, basketball, it's still basketball. It's different. The pace is different at college, obviously.
Yeah.
But the players are still the same. The players are the same as far as the mindset and everything. But the biggest thing is just kind of building that relationship with them. and understanding what they can and can't do to be successful on the court.
So have you had to deal with this, what is it, NIL yet?
Not so much for us at the Division II level, even though we do. Our athletic director does a tremendous job with working on that as far as with the collective. So for us at Division II level, we have something where we want to start a collective. And so not to get too much into it without really knowing.
I got it.
But yeah, so we don't really deal with the NIL as much as they do.
Who the best player you got, Coach?
Who's the best player I have?
Yeah.
I
had to put you on the spot like that.
Yeah, you did. You put me on the spot. I have a couple guys that are
they can fill it up.
They can fill it up, but still they still learning, they're still developing. Yeah, they're still developing. So there's a couple of guys that I'm really excited about that are underclassmen that's going to be here for another year. So we'll see how that goes.
How many players you got on your roster?
So right now we're at 13. We're at 13. So when I took the job, I only had 4 players.
Huh?
When I took the job, I only had 4 players. 4 players when I took the job, and so I had to pretty much build a team from end of July up until August. Literally, my last player I brought in was 2 weeks after class started, and so when
you say brought him in, what you mean?
So I had to find someone, I had to recruit somebody to bring them in. So that's one of the challenges. But again,
So let me ask you this, right? You took me in a whole nother direction. I guess that's why we call it off the cuff, right?
Call it off the cuff. We're off the cuff.
We're off the cuff for real. So how many scholarship players are you allowed to have?
So at
how does that work?
Yeah, so at Division II level, we're allowed to be fully funded. It's anywhere from like 10 to 11 scholarships.
Wow.
But our university, we're working towards getting our scholarship budget to where it should be. And our AD is, like I said, she's doing a tremendous job, the athletic staff, as far as raising money and getting us the resources and stuff we need. But we're not there, compared to some other schools. But when you're coming behind the 8 ball, like, as I mentioned earlier, 4 players, and to be honest with you, Sheriff, the 4 players that was here, only one of them played significant minutes. One guy was hurt, and 2 other guys were kind of in a reserve role. So, so bringing in a whole new team and, just trying to get guys in the last minute, sometimes you're scrambling. You're just trying to fill a roster spot for the most part. But this year is going to be, for us, is a learning experience.
Learning and
building. And so next year, being able to identify some guys that we're interested in and being able to sign some players. And, the transfer portal is going to be big for us as well, because in this conference, you're playing against grown men. And
Facts.
So you're playing against grown men. And so you have to have my opposition. I'm playing against grown men. So I have to have guys with age and experience, and also too guys that understand the legacy here at Winston-Salem State. And
True.
So me being a part of that, it makes it easier for me in the recruiting process to identify those guys.
Pearl, Buck, Mitchell.
Oh my God,
I can go on.
I can go on and on. Right. And so that's the thing. Winston is unique, not because I played here, special place, but also too, you got to understand the legacy and understand the expectations, and I do.
Yeah. So when is your next game, Coach?
So the next game is tomorrow. We play against Livingstone tomorrow down in Salisbury, which is one of our rival games, and this will be the first time that.
What time y'all play?
We play it's a Saturday, so we'll play at 4:00. We'll play at 4:00.
The women
play at Livingstone.
You know what? I might take a trip, right? I might be looking for something to do tomorrow and
please
pop in on y'all.
Yeah, please.
And then when's your next home game?
Next home game would be Monday. Monday at 7:30 against Bowie State.
On the campus?
On the campus, yes, sir, at Winston-Salem State in the Game Center. Yep.
I'll definitely be at that one.
Yes.
I got a question for you. 4:00 tomorrow, 7:00 Monday.
Yes, sir.
So, tell me some things that if you had a wish list, right? And I don't typically do this, but if you had a wish list right now that you would want from Winston-Salem, Forsyth County, what would it be?
Overall,
give me 3 things.
Yeah. First of all, I would say the biggest thing for me is our wish list would be, to be fully funded, as far as with our institution, our program, as far as with the basketball side of things. As far as with the community-wise, we really like to get more involved in the community.
You would?
We really like to get more involved in the community. The biggest thing is, for me, is that I'm trying to do some camps this summer, and I would really like to get out in the community and
got
do
a proposition
camps.
for you.
Okay.
Got a proposition for you.
Okay.
Right? So we have this thing, what we call abracadabra, right? Abracadabra is a Hebrew word, which means I create as I speak. In other words, almost like the tongue has the power of life and death. In other words, we have the ability to create it just by speaking it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I would love to help you get out into the community, right?
Good.
You know what I would love to do? And we've been talking about it around here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And actually, we have been pondering this conversation, my PR team and community outreach. But imagine that during the break, the Thanksgiving break, right? Or even at the beginning of the year, right?
Mm-hmm.
We could call it SU, the County Classic, to where we hosted a one day, a Saturday or a Sunday, a Saturday and Sunday tournament on the campus of one same state, right?
Oh, man.
The FCSO would sponsor it and back it. All I would need is for you to okay it. We get with the AD, the chancellor, and not only would it involve the community, we would even provide the security along with SSU officers. But not only would it give you to be a part of the community, right? But it would also showcasing talent here, right? Because sometimes there's things that we miss. And years from now, you know what? We could call it the Corey Thompson, whatever you want to call it, man.
Yeah.
I would love to have a conversation with you about that.
Okay.
Because we can make that happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that would be great. That sounds like a great idea. Just an opportunity because again, Winston-Salem State is a beautiful campus.
Trust me, man.
Beautiful campus,
yeah.
and just have students to have the opportunity, and future potential students to have the opportunity just to come on campus, not just for the basketball games, but just to see the facilities and to see what we're about. So sometimes it's a hidden gem.
We're right in town. I know quite a few people. I know the Chancellor Brown, Dr. Monell, Dr. Nation. I mean, we do a lot of work with not only with Winston-Salem State, but Wake Forest.
Correct.
One of the things that we believe here at the Sheriff's Office is that we believe that we must have community credibility. In other words, in order to have credibility in the community, you have to interact with the entire community. And so we would love to assist you, man. It's truly been a blessing having you on this show. I'm looking forward to all the excitement you're going to bring, and I give you my word. You have a new partner here at the Forsyth County Sheriff's Office. I'm going to give you the last word before we take it home. Anything you want to leave us with? I know you said you had two daughters, a son, up and coming, wife, and so I wish your family well, but I'm going to give you the last word.
Well, first, again, thank you so much for this opportunity. I would like to say to whoever's listening, don't give up on your dream.
I like that.
Don't give up on your dream, despite how it may look, despite everybody's journey is different. Don't give up on your dream. There's a lot of people in the world that are very talented, that maybe have more than you do, but what's inside, being able to fight through adversity. I tell my players that all the time. And so I'm a living witness of that. I've been through it, not just, here at Winston-Salem State now, but just my whole entire life has been an adversity where I had to fight through and being able to overcome the odds. And so I say this to anybody that's listening, whatever your dreams are, whether it's to go to college or whether it's to start your own business or whether it's to, be more involved, do different things, like do it. It starts today. Just take that first leap of faith, and you take that first leap of faith and continue work, and things will work out in your favor. But again, you cannot be afraid. There's going to be some setbacks, there's going to be some failures, but you got to push through, and just have a good support staff with you. And at the end of the day, you just look back and say, hey, life is a journey.
Yeah.
Sometimes we look at it, we say, man, I haven't been that far. But when you look back how far you come, man, I've came a long way. So I done come too far not to give up now.
You know what, man? I appreciate you. I'm gonna step out on faith and I'm gonna do something. It just came to me as you were talking. I like what you're doing. I like what I see and what you stand for. You guys play Livingstone here too at the Coliseum, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes, sir. Last game.
Last game, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to invite everybody in the county. We're going to do everything we can to see can we at least pack the place. I know it was too many people to hold over the game center.
Yes.
So we're gonna push this. We're gonna push this.
Thank you.
Yeah, because like you said, I want the community to come out and support you the same way we do everything else here. I love you, my friend. It's a pleasure having you. As always, it's been off the cuff with Coach Thompson from WSSU. We love you. Thank you. Have a great rest of your week. And as always, we love you. Thank you.